Good morning, everyone. It's Erev Pesach. The Siyum has already been done on Zoom. We will not be gathering today for the burning of the chametz. We will all be doing that alone. And we'll be davening in our homes alone over Pesach. And we will be having our seders this evening, in most cases, smaller than in every other year. I just want to share with you some thoughts as the holiday is about to begin, as Pesach is about to start. Pesach under circumstances none of us have ever experienced before and will hopefully never again. The Seder, the first Seder, is of course one of the central parts of our calendar. It is in the minds of most of the most important nights of the year to sit at home at our Seder table and tell the story again. You know, in 1943, during the years of the war in the Warsaw Ghetto, the uprising actually began on Pesach tonight. And I want to read you the report of a survivor of the Warsaw Ghetto uprising. He writes about during the battle, wandering about there, I unexpectedly came upon Rabbi Meisel. When I entered the room, I suddenly realized that this was the first night of the Seder. The room looked as if it had been hit by a hurricane. Bedding was everywhere. Chairs lay overturned. The floor was strewn with household objects. The window panes were all gone. And it happened during the day before the inhabitants of the room returned from the bunker. Amidst this destruction, the table in the center of the room looked incongruous with glasses filled with wine, with the family seated around the table, the rabbi reading the Haggadah. His reading was punctuated by explosions and the rattling of machine guns. The faces of the family around the table were lit by the red light from the burning buildings nearby. I couldn't stay long, he writes. As I was leaving, the rabbi said goodbye to me and wished me well. He said he was too old and broken to fight. But we, the young people, must never give up. You know, in that same Seder, the great Rabbi Shlomo Carlebach used to tell the story of a father and a son of about 10 years old, huddled together in a bunker, observing Pesach, whatever that meant in those circumstances. And it was time for the Manishtana. And his little son Moshe turned to him and he said, Daddy, Tati, he said to him, do you think next year you'll be alive to answer the 4 questions? And the father said, I don't know. There was so much death, so much destruction. He said, I don't know if I'll be alive, little Moshe, I don't know. Then Moshe started to cry. And he said to him, Tati, do you think I'll be alive to ask? And his father turned to him and said, I don't know. I can't tell you that. But one thing I can tell you, he said to his son, to Moshe. He said, there will be other Moshes. The story of the Jewish people doesn't end. Somewhere there'll be a little boy named Moshe asking the question. We are living in difficult circumstances that in no way can be compared to the travails of the past. But the story of their resilience and strength should inspire us. And again, I think there's a little confusion about Pesach. People think that because we survived slavery in Egypt, therefore we tell the story. That's not the cause and effect. We didn't survive, and therefore now we tell the story. We don't tell the story because we survived. We survived in order to tell the story. Again, and it's exactly what it says in the Haggadah. Ba'avor zeh. Because we do this, because we tell the story, we survived. The cause and effect is backwards. We don't tell the story because we survived. We survived so that we could tell the story. And we've been telling this story a long time. And we are nothing but the sum result of our stories. This morning in Beersheba, 97-year-old Holocaust survivor died of corona in an old age home in Beersheba. He had survived the Holocaust. He came to Israel. His son was born on Israel's Independence Day in 1948. His son fell in service in the Israeli army. And he died today in Beersheba. Shlomi Renziger from Poland. It's a heartbreaking story. But remember, because we tell these stories, we are here. Because we tell these stories, we are here. Ba'avor zeh. We survive because we tell the story. And we're going to tell beautiful stories tonight. And remember, the story of the creation of the Jewish people is a story of an act of will and determination. And remember, the story of the Jewish people begin with the stories of families gathered together in their homes. And this is the story that has always sustained us. Ba'avor zeh. In order to tell these stories, we survive. Let's hope and pray that Pesach is a source of comfort and joy. Let's hope and pray that next